Greetings, I'm Bob Reed. I live and farm in Matagorda County and wanted to share a little bit how this coronavirus is impacting my farming operation and tell you a little bit how it's affecting me personally. As far as the farm's concerned, there's very little impact. I mean, we continue our day-to-day chores. We're through planting for now, but we were planting when the virus was starting to be talked about, and we completed that. There was no interruption there. We had our seed on hand already, but we've applied fertilizer and chemicals and different things that we get from suppliers, and we've had no problem having those supplies delivered to our barn or shop where we can take them to the fields and get them applied. So really the day-to-day farming chores continue just as if there were no virus. And thank goodness that the suppliers that we use for fertilizer and chemicals or crop dusting service or all the things relating to inputs that we have in our crops, we've had no problem having those necessary supplies delivered. So thank goodness that chain hasn't broke down now. I do a lot of the grocery shopping, and the times that I've been to the grocery stores, it's become more and more controlled and stringent as far as sanitation and social distancing, and so many in the store at one time. That sort of thing. I suppose the thing that I miss the most about it, or I'm feeling the most about it, is that I have a really good friend that was in a very serious farm accident and has been in the hospital now and is past the serious stage, but has a lot of rehab to do, and he's starting that. And I can't go see him. I mean, he's halfway across the state, but he's a close enough friend that if I could get in to see him, I would go see him. Be good for me and be good for him too. But we can't do that and understand the reasons why we can't. So we do what we can and manage as best we can with what we get, which is the typical philosophy for a farm. You can't plan every day and expect it to go according to plan. Very few do. You have your day's work lined up when you go to bed at night, and you get up in the morning and the electricity's off, or the well's down, or the fence has been broke, or a gate was left open, and things that you didn't plan for the day that kind of float to the top all of a sudden. It had to be done before you can get started on what you had planned for the day. So you take what life gives you, and you make adjustments and you move on. So typically this time of year, I'll spend time going around to different farms and fields and checking crops. Everything's growing, and that's what we're in the process of doing now. So we'll take a look at those fields when we get to them. Look at this other cotton field now. This is some older cotton. It's not much older. Well, I'll say it's not older. It is quite a bit older, 3 weeks older probably, than the field we were at earlier where the cotton is just emerging. You can see this cotton's up quite a bit taller. Also notice the vegetation it's in. This farm is a fairly light, it's a sandy loam soil. It's got a lot of pressure from different nut sedges, as the yellow, black, purple nut sedges, and the other field grasses also, and some broadleaf weeds that we're going to have to address. But we'll be doing that. We were expecting or hoping, maybe not expecting, but hoping to be pouring rain water out of our rain gauge this morning, but there's still dust in it. So we'll get out here and get started spraying later this week or this weekend. As soon as the weather will let us. The wind's blowing now behind this front. It was blowing out of the south ahead of the front yesterday. Today it's blowing out of the north. And we can only, even though we do our spraying with a ground rig, you can only spray until the winds get up to certain velocities. And depending on what you have surrounding you as far as crops and pasture and houses and gardens and et cetera, et cetera. I mentioned earlier that we were hoping to be pouring water out of our rain gauges this morning. This rain's had an inch cumulatively since it was planted in mid-February. And it's on a fairly light soil. It's grown well, it looks fairly good, but you can look right here today, see how this leaf is curled up. And that's because of the heat and the lack of moisture. The leaf should be open like this during the day. You can see, you know, more like this leaf right here, this one to some extent, but you can see a lot of these leaves are curling up on the plants, and that's because it's hot and dry. And this corn, this is a little bit short here on the turn row, but if you look out in the field, you can see that it's anywhere from shoulder tall to head tall, and it's about to tassel. There'll be tassels out here next week. Really critical that the crop have sufficient moisture right now. This is dry land. We don't have irrigation for it. It's whatever God provides for us, and I'm sure that we've suffered some loss in potential yield already if we don't get a rain in the next few days, which is not in the forecast. We're going to suffer more, and if it stays dry, as temperatures get higher and higher, well, you know, it's not going to make much of a crop here, regardless of the start that it's off to. Don't see every field every day, but try to get to all of them every 2 to 3 days. We also have crop consultants that work with us, and they check. And we always compare notes. In fact, I've got that on the list to do now. Had a message from a crop consultant to call whenever I had a chance, so I'll call and talk to him. I know he was looking at some of the cotton today, and we'll be making recommendations on what we need to do there. But I've got other things that I'll be doing to finish the day up. I need to move a tractor from our shop to Bay City to the John Deere shop. Have some work done on it. We do as much of our own mechanical and maintenance work as we can, but there's things that we don't do and we take to the shop. The tractor needs a little help, so we're going to get it moved today so they can get the work done on it. Then I know Robbie's spraying cotton this morning on the southern end of our farms. He's at Chinkapin, which is right down close to the bay. He's spraying cotton down there, and he's about done, so we got to move sprayer and water tanks and chemicals and that sort of thing out to the next farm if he can keep spraying. But the winds are getting up pretty high, so he probably not going to be able to spray much longer. There's probably 35 miles from our most southern farms. Everything's here in Matagorda County, but we're scattered out from one end to the other, probably 35 miles from one end to the other. So it takes a good bit of road time just to get around and see everything. But we'll look at this last cotton patch, and then go tend to some of these other chores. Need to take a car to town and get a couple of tires put on the front end of it. Just usual, typical, normal, everyday stuff. And as farmers, for one thing, it's our livelihood at stake out here, and so there's very few things that can keep us away from the field, and this virus is certainly not one of them. Stay in the hospital, for instance, that would do it. But as far as a flu or cold or allergies this time of year, where you just really feel bad and miserable, but you get up and go because it's got to be done, and that's what you do, and that's the part of the price that you pay. So and I guess fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to think of it, I kind of enjoy it. We're alone most of the day, or certainly at more than what the country's doing for social distancing, and so we don't have a lot of personal contact with other people during the day on most days, and can get by for the most part without it. Can use their phones and that sort of thing. So the virus is impacting, our lives, but not necessarily our farming operations. This is some of my older cotton. I think it looks good. It's getting 5 or 6 nodes, 8, 10 inches tall. This very field that I'm standing in right now, a year ago, cotton this tall, maybe a little bit taller. So we ended up going on and growing. It didn't kill the crop. It set it back. It stunted it. It didn't grow like it should. Went ahead and grew it out, harvested it, and made a little close to a bale and a half cotton ready for all. But this is really good land. It's dry right here. This crop needs rain too, but cotton is more drought tolerant than some of the other crops, and so it'll hang on. And this is a good heavy black clay soil, and so it retains the moisture longer than some of the lighter soils. Anyway, I wish all my cotton looked like this right now. We'll get the grass and weeds cleaned out of the other fields. It'll look all right. My only concern is the one field where we don't have a stand up yet, the last that we planted, and that was kind of being between a rock and a hard place, getting to the end of our optimum planting window. Marginal moisture, so we had moisture down deep, planted it deep, just concerned whether it's going to come up from the seeds 3 inches deep. Never have planted cotton that deep, but it seems to be coming up. Hopefully we'll get enough plants up to have a stand there tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get a rain soon. I usually start my day, usually 7 days a week, start the day and finish the day right here. This is our vegetable garden at home, and we've got cucumbers planted, 3 plants over by the fence here, because we'll pull the vines as they start making vines and run and pull them to the fence, so they'll grow up on the fence and won't cover up the whole garden. Just finished in this bigger area out here planting pinto beans and purple hull peas. Had some of the grandkids here to help me with that. Then we've got tomatoes. We've got squash. We've got Brussels sprouts that grew through the winter that are still making a few Brussels sprouts. And on the other side of them, we've got bell peppers and jalapeno peppers. And then also in the box by the woodshed over there, we've got more tomato plants and another jalapeno plant. The jalapeno plant in that box is 3 years old. It just keeps growing. Hasn't frozen hard enough to kill it yet, so I'll just leave it and it keeps growing. It's produced some peppers this year off of that 3-year-old plant, and one of the tomato plants in there survived the winter and is producing tomatoes. Has some tomatoes on it now. They're just starting to get a little color to them, but it got burned a little bit during the winter, but survived and is producing tomatoes.